Hi, today I wanted to talk about Upstaza's recent favorable opinion from the Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use, or CHMP. So here I have the news article dated May 19th, and when this first came out, I received a lot of notifications the following day and questions from people in our community and from my family about what this meant for our community. First, let's look at what this opinion says. So the CHMP is an arm of the European Medical Agency, or the EMA, and they've recommended approval of gene therapy, Upstaza, to treat aromatic l-amino acid decarboxylase, AADC deficiency in the European Union. Now, the reason that this has gained so much attention is because for the AADC deficiency community, our disease was first identified in 1990. That means 30 years has passed, and since then there's been no approved treatment. Now, I'm not sure the normal progression that it takes for a cure to come to market, but in my recent world, I can only think of how quickly Pfizer was able to bring a vaccine from research and development all the way to the consumer. And that took a year. And I know that that was a special circumstance, that the world was under pressure and that they were able to make that happen really quickly. They got the gears moving. Now, 30 years seems like a very long time for many of our families, and I don't know how that compares in the grand scheme of pharmaceutical approvals, but personally for me, that's a long time. In addition, for the last several years, there's been clinical trials on gene therapy, and people inside of our community have already seen the benefits. We know that this is a potential treatment and that there's nothing else for us. And really, when I say that there's nothing else for us, it's pretty much death or we get this gene therapy. So 30 years was a very long time, but things are improving, and now I see a lot of momentum happening because of this announcement. And I definitely want to help do what we can to keep this moving forward. But let's just look at what this does mean for our community and as the rare disease community as a whole. As a parent advocate for AADC deficiency community and a daughter who's directly benefited from Upstaza, which during the clinical trial was known as PTC-AADC, we were honored to share a little bit of our story with the EMA and let them know about our experience with before gene therapy and after gene therapy and the results that we've seen. So if we played any small role in helping the EMA make this positive opinion, we feel very blessed in doing that. When I read this opinion, there were a couple of things that it was important to keep in mind. First was the statement about a positive opinion. So yes, this is only a positive opinion, and normally what happens is the CHMP will give their opinion, and then the EMA a few months later will follow the opinion of the CHMP and actually give the marketing authorization. So that means that it's not yet available for people in Europe. However, it seems like within the next couple of months, this will actually be available, and PTC, the pharmaceutical company that developed this drug, will be able to market it. The other thing is that the EMA is giving approval for Europeans to use it. So this is not yet available in places like England, the USA, Asia, and the rest of the world. The next was this right here, where it says, under exceptional circumstances, and it gives us a footnote for number 2. So let's zoom into that. It says, in exceptional circumstances, an authorization may be granted subject to certain specific obligations to be reviewed annually. This happens when the applicant can show that they are unable to provide comprehensive data on the efficacy and safety of the medicinal product, due to the rarity of the condition it is intended for, limited scientific knowledge in the area concerned, or ethical considerations involved in the collection of such data. So what does it mean when this will be available for under exceptional circumstances? Well, when I went to the EMA website, it gave a little bit more information and it connected a couple of dots for me. For PTC to bring this to the market, to go through the research and development, clinical trials, and then eventually get authorization, there's some very rigorous protocols and processes that they have to complete. They have to verify everything. It has to be double blind. It has to be approved. There's so many things that need to happen. And obviously these are to keep the public safe. However, in the rare disease community, this means, or anyone suffering from a disease, it means that there's a long process. And also there's a lot of testing that has to be done. Now, for us in the rare disease community, that's not always possible, especially for AADC deficiency. We have an incidence rate that's reported about 130 or so. So it's very difficult to meet the regulations and the requirements of the EMA or the FDA when we can't do a big population study on the efficacy of a drug. So what this means to us is that this is being granted under exceptional circumstances, and this is due to the rarity of the disease. PTC has shared all of their data, and the people in the community already know the effects of gene therapy. So I fully trust it, and obviously the European Medical Agency also fully trusts it, but it didn't go through the same process that you would have seen with, let's just say, a vaccine, such as the COVID vaccine developed by Pfizer. They had to do a lot more testing, bigger groups of populations. It just wasn't possible. So the exceptional circumstance is something that should be expected with the rare disease and the strict protocols that are normally associated with getting a drug approved. So what does this mean for our community? Well, first is with the EMA's approval coming soon in the next 2 months, we should see other government agencies make the same approval for this drug. For example, in the UK, we have the NIH, and in America, we have the FDA. Seeing that it went through the approval process in the European Union and received acceptance, there may be a couple of additional things that the FDA wants or the NIH wants, but global acceptance should follow, which is very important because we have an incidence rate of 130, but those people appear all around the world. So it's not feasible for someone in America to travel to Europe to have this, and vice versa for anywhere else in the world. So with the global acceptance, 130 people around the world will have more access to this drug. And the true number may be a little bit higher. I shared some information that I found from another doctor that was talking about what the true number may actually be. And that true number may be upwards to 1,800 people around the world who currently maybe are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Recently, the National Institute for Health published this research award, which states that it's going to evaluate the benefits of Upstaza, or which goes by its full drug name in this study. So it looks like the UK is already going through the process of identifying the benefits of having gene therapy. And it says here that they started in May 2022, and the end date should be in November 2022. We also talked with an organization in the UK, Metabolic Support UK, and this is their website here. This organization actually talks directly with the National Institute for Health. So what we did was we shared our experience with them in the hopes that Metabolic Support UK would then be able to give our experience to NICE, and then hopefully this is also included in our perspective and the benefits that we receive from this gene therapy. Hopefully that gets to the NIH, and that helps them to make another favorable opinion about this drug. Now for the FDA, I haven't seen too much information. I'm sure that PTC is doing what they can to get the approval in America, and I think with the NIH and the EMA making the first steps to make this drug available, the FDA will just follow suit. But again, who knows what their protocol or what their requirements are for PTC. The next thing is that to go through this process of speaking with the EMA, the NIH, and the FDA, PTC, the drug developer for Upstaza, had to share all of this data. So this is publicly available data now. So what I think this will mean for our community is that we would see more competition. And competition is a good thing. Competition leads to lower prices. Competition leads to new approaches, better drugs, investment into more research and development to improve the drug or to make other types of drugs. So I wouldn't be surprised if other pharmaceutical companies are taking note of this, that they're directing funds towards gene therapy and other similar types of treatments. Also, this means more innovation. Here is ClearPoint Neuro's website, and they are actually innovating this gene therapy approach already. So our daughter underwent gene therapy using stereostatic. Basically, a frame is put onto the head. Manually, the doctor is injecting the drug into the correct area of the brain. However, ClearPoint Neuro is already studying how to improve the injection or the administration of the gene into the brain. So not only does this make it more precise, but it also makes it more accessible, because with this instrument, a lot of the work is done through the software, through the computer, and we don't have to rely on a doctor to have many years of experience and time to test and to learn how to perform the gene therapy. So this cuts down on any type of human error that we would see from the doctor's hands, and it just makes it more available around the world. And this is me simplifying. It's out of the box of gene therapy, where any hospital, regardless of how little or how much the doctor has experience with doing gene therapy, which obviously is very little because it's a novel procedure, that this software and this instrument is able to step in and improve the accuracy and the precision of the surgery. So already we can see that gene therapy is being innovated on and being improved upon. Next is that I've never seen so much awareness and AADC deficiency appearing into the news. So I sign up for Google and I get an alert anytime there's a new website or article published about AADC deficiency. And within that week, inside of the end of May, there was so many news articles talking about gene therapy and specifically AADC deficiency. So we already have some momentum, and I really want to keep this momentum going, but it's great to have all this news and coverage on such a rare disease, and also people are understanding more about rare diseases as a whole. And finally, what I think this means is that there is hope for other people in the rare disease community. I don't know how gene therapy can be applied to other rare diseases, but it just seems like there must be, with more than 7,000 rare diseases out there, gene therapy should be able to be applied to other types of rare diseases. And as I said, we were waiting 30 years, and there may be other rare diseases who have been waiting much longer. So I think that this approval, this positive opinion, is giving hope to others in the rare disease community. So I'll close with this picture of hope. The fact that my friends in the AADC deficiency community and other rare disease communities are on the verge of receiving treatment gives me so much pleasure. The future of medicine is already here, and there is real hope for families that follow. Thank you again for watching.